Welcome back, everybody. Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob here, coming at you. We have I mean, it's relatively breaking news for us on Sunday at 7 p.m. When this comes out tomorrow morning, it'll be less breaking news, but still fresh. Super interesting. And again, kind of makes me wish that we had Jones here for a different spin on it. And see if he even knows anything about it. But the Argentinian government, yeah, that's how I want to phrase it. Argentina just had an election, and they have a president, and the winner of their presidential election is this guy by the name of Javier Milei or Milei. It's Milei, however you want to pronounce that. I don't know. Millie, Malay,
Malay.
Malay.
I don't know. I'm not Argentinian.
Yeah, me neither.
I never took a fucking second of Spanish, so.
So you're probably like, well, why are we leading with this, right? Like, what's the big deal? Who gives a fuck about Argentina? I think this is super interesting and potentially a forecast for the future, because for the first time ever, in a two-party system, a third-party candidate has won a presidential election. So Javier Milei belongs to the Libertarian Party. So the Libertarian Party is not a major party in Argentina. I don't know what their two major ones are, but because there are some countries like I think Germany is one of them. And then like Sweden, maybe the Scandinavians, they have like 7 different parties, right? And like they all vote at different things and different times, and they have to come together to like form a government. I don't know. Their fucking charters or constitutions, whatever they have, is written weird. But there are some countries that have like 6 or 7 different political parties. But again, this is big because the Libertarian Party is traditionally a smaller third party candidacy or whatever. And they just won. The guy just won the presidential election in Argentina, who is not one of the major political parties that they have down there. So I think this is interesting, right? I think that, like I said, this is a potential forecast or foreshadow for other countries around the world, because I don't think America is the only country, despite it being the oldest and the greatest in the entire world. I don't think we're the only ones that have had politically charged issues, right? So I've talked about them all the time, but the Roca News app, the Roca Wave, that's where I get a lot of my news from. They actually just did a really long piece over the course of this entire month, really, on the AfD party in Germany, which opponents are just calling them Nazis. But what it is it's an alternative conservative party that seeks to put Germany first. And Germany, we don't have to, this is like a tangent. We don't have to get down this rabbit hole, but Germany has a bad history of people that say they want to put Germany first, right? So it's a little taboo to say that, you know, you want a Germany first policy or Germany first, political candidates. Whereas in America, that's what we're yearning for right now. However, even in Germany, under those circumstances, the AfD is a party that's gaining a ton of steam because people are sick of the bullshit and they don't want to deal with open borders and immigration and COVID lockdowns. And I guess in a lot of different countries, I wasn't aware of this until relatively recently, a lot of countries, there's some sort of liberal party that's been in place throughout, the last 4, 5, 6 years, basically through COVID times. A lot, obviously not every country, but there have been a lot of countries that had a liberal, party running the government, which led to lockdowns, mandates, whatever, so have you. And the people are sick of it, and they're turning to options that are not that. And again, like you see the AFD in Germany, which again, and Roca, shout out to Roca, they do a really good job of like staying neutral. Are there some people that support the AFD in Germany that are Nazis? Yes, absolutely. There are people that like fly because I think it's illegal to fly the Nazi flag in Germany, but there's like a loophole where like it's a different kind of flag now that means the same thing. And they're like, yes, there are people flying this other flag at these AFD rallies. There are for sure people that support this party that are Nazis. However, the party itself isn't the reincarnate of the Nazi party, right? So there's a lot of back and forth there. But now we have literal like rubber hits the road, right, in Argentina, because now we have the libertarians have won the presidency, right? And it's not even like, again, I don't know how their government goes, but it's not like a seat in Congress, right? It's not like Bernie Sanders won as a senator in Vermont as an independent, right? Like this is the president of the country of Argentina won his election as a non-major party candidate.
So my only thing, as much as I would love for third, fourth, fifth parties to actually have like a remote chance, just even still, you just listen to people and it's like, there's no way. Like, there's no way that anyone here is going to go against their side. They're just too, like, politically polarized. Because, even now, so there are a few people.
I think it's the fringes. You're not going to change the fringes, but I think the majority of the people, I would say, if you want to break it up percentage wise, I would say 20% of all people could be considered fringe, right? 10% on the right, 10% on the left. And then I think 80% of the country falls somewhere, middle to center left, center right, right? Like in that region.
Yeah, but no matter where they fall, they're still going to go with their side, right?
I don't think so. I think we're starting to see that here now.
Do you ever see Massachusetts not going Democrat?
Okay, well,
in New York, in California,
Massachusetts doesn't matter, right? It's a
you're right. It doesn't have enough votes.
State.
So California,
yeah.
Do you ever see California not going blue?
They could. I mean, there was a mass exodus of people that would vote not blue over the last few years. So I think right now it's probably been more concentrated to blue. Because the people that don't like those policies, like I said, have left. They've gone to Florida and Tennessee and Texas and in places like that, or Idaho. In the case of Washington, right? Or is it Oregon? Like people in
Oregon wanted to
they don't even want to be part of the state anymore. They just want to join Idaho.
Idaho didn't want them. I don't
and
think.
Idaho was like, nah, we're good. To keep your fucking foo-foo bullshit over there. But I think you're starting to see that now with people like RFK Jr. and
it's an awfully optimistic take.
I'm not saying that in the 2024 election, it's going to be so different. But what I'm saying is, could 2028 bring something different? Potentially.
I just don't see it with the way.
I think in this country in particular, it needs to start smaller, right? Like people in Congress need to start getting elected before they elect a libertarian president.
And do we have any independent?
Yeah.
Congress or in the Senate?
Yeah. Yeah. We have quite a bit. I think there's 3 independent senators. And I think in the House, there are maybe like 10. And then I think there's like one Green Party,
Okay.
something. There's like some goofy fucking, probably Vermont.
Yeah, man. I mean, like that's what I would want. I hate this shit. Like, you know, my team, your team, and then it's like if you lean, like depending on who else comes out, it's always like even if you don't like your side, you just automatically attack the other side,
Right.
and then you become so strong and like staunch, I guess, in your stance against that other party that you're like kind of defaulted. And like people aren't getting any smarter, so I don't like trust them to start thinking more critically.
Well, already you're starting to see the panic from the major media conglomerates, because I'm going to read you a few headlines from some of these companies already. It just the presidential election, like again, it's 7:12 p.m. our time. I think it just got called like within the last hour, real time. So we're like an hour out of the official, like he won. The Guardian, which is a British publication, um, leans left. Argentina or
Continue.
Argentina, Argentina presidential election. Far right libertarian Javier Milei wins after rival concedes. This is from the Washington Post, which you don't need me to tell you how the Washington Post leans. Trump-like libertarian Javier Milei wins Argentinian presidency.
Trump-like, huh?
Yeah. From Reuters. Wow, that's a really hard word for me to say today.
Doesn't need to be.
Argentina, Argentina's Javier Milei, the radical who could blow up political status quo.
I mean, if that's the case, I'm fucking all for it. So this is the thing too, is it's like I actually hope that you're correct. Like I hope that and so this is the thing too. I don't trust that what happens in Argentina affects what happens here. So I don't like I get it. It's, we're seeing it in another country, which gives you the thought that it might happen here too. But I don't know anything about Argentina. There's 15 million fucking people that live in its capital. Like, I don't know what else happens there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and when they won the World Cup, there was like 100 million people in fucking Buenos Aires. Like, I don't even know if there's another city in Argentina. I know they speak Spanish. Couldn't tell you anything else.
Patagonia
Period.
is there. The Patagonia mountain range.
Wow, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's beautiful this time of year. Like literally, because I think they're going into summer.
so like whatever happens in Argentina, fine. Like it's not going to be a direct, and that's my key word is direct trickle down to here. What's going to happen here is going to be with what happens with the candidates here.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing is if you're sick of Biden and sick of Trump, you need to go for the fucking third guy. This time it's RFK Jr.
Right.
And until that shit starts happening,
Who's polling higher than Ross Perot ever did.
and until that stuff happens, nothing's going to change here. And I think that's still part of the problem. Like, I just don't trust, because I trust me, man, I really, really wish that there were like 5 candidates that all you could point to and be like, okay, I like that guy because that guy does whatever.
Right.
And all 5 people had a legitimate chance. That would be sick. I would actually fucking vote if that was the case.
Right. If it was like Vivek, Tulsi, RFK, and like, I don't know, fucking throw Bernie out there if you want.
No, you gotta.
Right?
I was to say, so you gotta trot out. So this is the thing, though. If it's gonna be 5 people, all with a legitimate chance, you have to trot out some fucking weirdos. So like, is AOC 35?
No.
Okay.
She will be in 2028.
Give me some like so someone else like on the left. Because I think Trump's as far right as it gets, right? Right now.
No. Trump is actually relatively moderate
Okay.
in his
So
policy.
I need a far right, a middle right.
A far right would be Pence. Like
Cool. So it's
Pence is a
him.
fucking evangelical Christian.
Oh God.
Like it doesn't get much further right than
Yeah. So
that.
give me the Grand Wizard.
Yeah. Yeah, from Indiana. He's an evangelical Christian from Indiana. Like that's literally like that's one step
Yeah,
away
okay.
from fucking bad
That's
news
what I mean
bears.
is like, so if in my example where it's 5 that I'll have a legitimate chance, it's got to be far right, far left, middle right, middle, like,
Right. Right.
and let them duke it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Bernie's your far left guy, right? Or AOC, I
Biden's
guess,
probably your middle
theoretically.
left
Yeah.
because
Trump would be your middle right. And then RFK might be the middle
he might
guy.
be your center.
Yeah.
Then just let them go. Like that's like, and again, you just let it work itself out from there.
Right.
I wish that was the case, but nope. It's always going to come down to 2. It's always going to come because that's the thing. Even with RFK Jr., like he's just not going to get enough traction as much as I would like him to. And maybe he runs this one, doesn't get enough traction. Maybe it gives him enough traction for the next one.
Yeah. He's relatively, well, no, I think he's almost 70. But he looks fucking incredible. Did you see? Have you seen the picture with him with his shirt off? He's fucking
No, I
yoked.
haven't, but I remember.
I mean, he's not quite like Sly or Schwarzenegger yoked at 70, but like you
just
look
needs to
at
up
him and
his
you're like,
dose.
holy shit, dude, like that guy is 70. Like he looks like he's probably like, 60, like 58 to 60. Like he's fucking jacked.
So
Like if I'm going to elect a 70-year-old president, like I want him to look like RFK. Right. Like that's my stipulation. Like if you want me
yeah,
to
they can't
vote for
look
some
70.
old fuck, you can't look like a fucking bag of milk. Right. Like that's not gonna fly. Like you gotta be yoked out. And I don't care if you're on steroids. I actually prefer if you are on steroids.
Well, I'd be a little annoyed if you were on steroids because if you were that influential, you could definitely get
Well, I
correctly
mean like
dosed.
TRT. Like
Yeah, I was gonna say you could get to correctly dosed HGH or testosterone. So
right, right. Which if it's the same thing. TRT, steroids, the same thing. TRT is just testosterone. Steroids could either be testosterone,
or
whether
anabolic steroids,
or it could be trenbolone and fucking Deca and
Winstrol.
yeah, whatever. But TRT implies that it's either, it's most likely testosterone cypionate, but whatever. Yeah. So the other thing too was my point of reading those headlines, right? Obviously, they're all from left-leaning political organizations, but like the headlines, right? Far right, Trump-like, radical, like right wing, far right. Like the guy's a libertarian. The libertarian is not far right. You know what I mean? It's like it's it's an oxymoron, or it's a paradox, right? Like it's like jumbo shrimp. Like a far right libertarian like doesn't make sense because a libertarian doesn't want large government. They want like reduced size government, where someone who is far right is an absolutist that wants total government control, a la fascism, right? Like effectively the political spectrum, like extreme, like to the edge of far left is communism, and extreme to the edge of far right is fascism. I would say libertarianism like probably falls in the middle. Like maybe you could make some arguments,
Trying to
maybe it's like center right ish.
say
Like
trying to draw up
to call libertarianism a far right party is literal. It's a literal lie.
going back to senior year of high school. Libertarian Party or libertarian train of thought, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they effectively just want everything to come down to the smallest level possible, right?
Correct. They want everything to almost be privatized. They're extreme capitalists, right? And the free market system where for the, I think if you go back to Gary Johnson in 2016, one of the things, people hung up on were he wanted to abolish the Department of Education, right? And that's where people stopped. They go, all he wants to do is just get rid of the part, no more public school. And it's like, well, wait a second, because you have to ask him what is his plan to replace that with. And what he wanted to replace it with was a system funded by private money. So we actually talked about this before. About this was like way back in one of our episodes when we fucking ripped on education, when we were talking about like if Amazon stepped in and created an Amazon school, right? Like Amazon decides the curriculum, but they pay for everything in the school. So you might get like a sick fucking school with awesome technology and like cool courses that you might not be able to take if you went to like a TJ Maxx sponsored school, right? Where TJX is more fashion based and art design and things like that. Like that's the libertarian mindset. It's oversimplified, but like that's the thought process of the federal government should not be as big as it is, and we should leave it to private businesses and states to figure shit out on their own in some combination, one way or the other.
Yeah, and I think I also remember on because I think the example they used was like this is going back to 2008. It would be like I think if you had a libertarian mindset, like abortion would be choice,
Right.
like weed would be legal,
Right.
there would still be taxes, but I
You don't
forget
pay
what it
federal
was.
taxes.
Yeah,
Right?
or it was like a flat rate for everybody. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you weren't gonna like not have taxes, or you were gonna
Right.
pay more to the state, less to federal. I forget.
Yeah.
This is going back fucking 15 years now. I don't know what else gets people charged up. I don't know, but you would have a lot of individual freedoms in like a libertarian
That's what their whole party
society.
stands for. Vermin Supreme.
Was he a libertarian?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pony
You get
for
to wear
everyone.
boots on your head. Yeah, everyone gets a pony.
Although brushing your teeth was mandated under his rule.
So we can remove fluoride from the water. That's a big thing on Rogan has been making that, like, it's just been coming up in different discussions in some of his podcasts, which is actually a really good point, is that so fluoride, there's legitimate scientific evidence and studies that show in towns throughout the country that have higher concentrations of fluoride in their water, in their drinking water, their IQ on average is lower. So there's a direct correlation. Again, yeah, okay, causation doesn't equal correlation, whatever. I get it, right? But there's a direct correlation between how much fluoride is in the drinking water, or an inverse correlation, I should say, of how much fluoride there is and what their IQ is, right? So more fluoride, the lower the average IQ. The less fluoride, the higher the average IQ. So again, you're kind of grasping at straws with that one, because there's more than, there's multiple factors there, but enough people have cited it and done the studies to where it's like a legitimate claim. Like you can say that with a fact, like that's true. So like it's come up again on Rogan with a couple guests, and they're like, yeah, all you have to do is just fucking brush your teeth. Like it's like someone decided once upon a time, like, well, not enough people are brushing their teeth. So what can we do? Well, I don't know. Why don't we just put fluoride in the water? Well, what about all the people that do brush their teeth? Well, fuck it. This will cover the people that don't brush their teeth. So we'll just put fluoride in the water, and then we don't have to worry about if people don't brush their teeth. That's like, that's the dumbest fucking logic ever. Because I brush my teeth, right? Like I mean, I also don't drink tap water, but like it's so dumb, right? Like, why would you put something in the water where one of his guests got into the conspiracy of it, that it actually came from the agricultural industry? Because when you complete the process of like fertilizing the ground and doing whatever you're doing, what comes out of it is like, it's like hydrofluoride or something like that. So they had like a bunch of extra fluoride something or whatever. They're like, what do we do with it? They're like, well, I don't know. Let's just fucking sell it to municipal departments and tell them to put it in their drinking water because it'll help people's teeth. Like, that's the kind of like not so conspiracy theory behind how fluoride even got into tap water in the first place.
This is an absolute insane. I don't even know what to call it, because I don't want to call it like a logical train. This is nuts. This is like the fact that people get like hung up on this and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of fucking crazy, right?
It's kind of fucking stupid.
Yeah, it is. So don't drink the tap water.
Yeah, we got bigger problems than fluoride in the water.
Yeah, clearly. Right, we got fucking two losers that are trying to run the whole country. We need a third guy. I vote third guy. I don't even know how we fucking got down that road.
I don't know. Do we ever know?
No, we don't. Well, to shift gears a bit here, I don't know which one I want to start with. Let me start with the participation thing, and then we'll transition into the other part of it. So, I forget whether it was John Sherman or Lou Stagner that posted this on Twitter the other day, but they posted a chart that shows the percentage of children in this country who participated on a regular basis in 2022 from ages 6 to 12 in different sports, again, throughout the country. So they've been tracking this for 4 years. So they took a tally of who played what sport in 2019, 2020, 21, and 2022. So a couple of things here that stand out to me is there was a 20% drop over 4 years in kids that play baseball, right? So of all the kids that played sports, 14.4% played baseball in 2019, and that was 11.5 in 2022. So I'm only going to talk about like the big changes here, for a total of like 3.3 million kids in the country. Cheerleading took a huge hit. Percentage wise, it doesn't sound bad. It went from 2.9% to 2.2%, but that's a 23% drop. And there's like 630,000 kids that are in cheerleading. Tackle football. This is one that we just talked about, in an early episode. I think we were still in Jamie's room when we did that one.
Probably.
But so tackle football went from 2.9% to 2.6% for a 13.2% drop. There's like 725,000 kids in the country that play tackle football. Gymnastics went down almost 16%. Ice hockey went down 17.5%. Lacrosse, my sport that I said was going to overtake everybody, dropped 26.2% from 1% in 2019 to 0.7% in 2022. So you got less kids playing lacrosse. Softball dropped 16%. Swimming dropped almost 30%. Track and field dropped 10%. Volleyball dropped 15%. Wrestling dropped 23%. So anyone that's out there that's watching or listening, or you are like, well, those are a lot of negatives. Where are all the positives? There aren't a lot of positives. However, there's a couple in particular that stand out. Tennis increased 51.2% from 4.3% of kids to 6.5% of kids. 2.1 million kids played tennis in 2022. And golf was number 2. That increased almost 33% from a total of 4.6 to 6.1%. There's 1.7 million kids played golf in 2022. So all of these sports are losing, right? Baseball, cheerleading, football, gymnastics, hockey, lacrosse, softball, swimming, track and field, volleyball, and wrestling all lost. There was some other one like basketball stayed the same. Flag football stayed the same.
Soccer? Where's soccer?
Soccer only increased 4%. So
Okay.
effectively to me, that stayed the
Stayed
same.
the same.
So anything that's like negligible, it's stayed the same, right? But golf and tennis, golf increased 33% and tennis 51%.
It's interesting because they're the two not only individual sports, but they're also the country club. Well, I would say they're the country club sports.
Right. Right.
And I know like a lot more people were playing golf anyway. And they're both generally outdoor sports. I wonder if that has a little bit more so to do with the time frame that they chose. Well, no, because it started in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's still. I wonder if it's more so a function of, because two things immediately came to my mind. One is the sample years include the COVID influence.
Right.
So tennis, golf, they are outdoor individual sports. So obviously there was more availability of that stuff starting in 2020. So therefore you can keep people kind of doing it. Like a lot of in 2020, a lot of the opportunity for all the other sports that you mentioned, some of that opportunity was diminished. And then if you take like, especially like swimming, that was a shit show, dude. Like,
oh yeah.
Like even because like soccer, probably again, soccer is like not gonna really take much of a hit. But like swimming, like dude, pools were fucking closed and teams were fucking like they weren't gonna put fucking 12 fucking kids in a pool. Or I don't know how many lanes there are, whatever. So I think there's a little bit of a function of that. I also think there could be a little bit of like the AAU bubble bursting a little bit. Like when you said like baseball stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's so many organizations and so many teams and so many clubs and so much of this and that and the other thing. And it's like at some point enough has to be fucking enough.
So the other thing about this too is that the ages of these kids are from 6 to 12. So this is effectively like your first sport, right? Like when you're 6 years old, like that's kind of when you start playing sports.
Yeah, team sports.
Yeah. So there's 20% less kids playing baseball as their first sport, which like baseball is like everyone, it's like soccer, right? Like every 6-year-old plays baseball and soccer, right? Just because they're the easiest fucking sports to play. Like baseball, you stand around most of the time anyway. You're not really active doing much. You're swinging a bat at a ball, maybe you hit it and you got to run to the base, right? Like
well, also at like age 6, it's T-ball.
Well, yeah.
But by 12, it's
right. By 12, it's real baseball. And like soccer is like fucking squirrels chasing an acorn, right? With 6-year-olds. But like, so again, soccer stayed the same. Baseball dropped 20%. Football makes sense, right?
So
that's the only one that makes sense to me is football. Because, and I guess wrestling too, because with
Yeah,
the
wrestling's not
concussion
very
stuff,
popular.
with the concussion stuff and the injuries in particular, right? Like the incident of injury in football is high. It's very high. It's up there probably with hockey and wrestling as the most likely to get injured in a sport, right? They're contact sports.
Head injury, but
Right.
yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, tackle football, like there's
Well, because
knees and there's
soccer is number one for injury rate
right.
because of knees, ankles, feet.
But is that because more people play soccer? Like it's easier, like the barrier of entry
I want to say it
is
was. I
lower?
want to say it was a ratio. I want to say it was per whatever participants. I don't
Okay.
have the. You know the old study that everyone used to go to about like weightlifting being safe.
Yeah.
It's that one.
Okay.
Soccer was number one, so I don't remember if that was like a.
Isn't that from like 1989?
No, it's newer than that, but I think it was. I don't know, but
Well, if it was in a textbook, it's got to be at least 10 years old.
ugh, I don't think it ever was. Um, no, I wanted to say it was newer than that. But yeah, it was like I think that's what I think it was a rate, like an injury rate, not a gross number of injuries. But soccer's far and away number one. And it's just because there's so many ankles, knees, shins, fall, wrist, shoulder, like
Yeah.
all that stuff.
I guess the definition of injury and severity, right, also come into play,
Right. Because
right?
you got to,
So,
it's because especially like a study like that, it's reported injuries.
right, like
Like,
you
oh, well,
can,
I rolled my ankle. Write it down.
like, yeah, like, yes, obviously you can blow out your knee in a non contact injury in soccer, but the, you are, I would say, significantly more likely to have a knee injury in football than you are in soccer. Because in soccer, it's a non-contact or it's a slide tackle, but like that, I think that's outlawed in youth sports anyway now. But like football, you could just be going to make a regular tackle and you fucking blow someone's knee out, right? So like I think the probability, right, of a severe injury is a lot higher in football, in hockey, in wrestling than it is in, you know, basketball or soccer
Basketball is high too, though.
or baseball.
Or well, so this is the thing we have to define. Like, if we define what's a severe injury, because basketball is another one where they're always hurt because of ankles, feet, knees, like because they're always landing on people's ankles, rolling ankles, sprains.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah, I mean, if we're talking ACL tears, I don't know what the highest is. Now it might, and this is the problem with like, because I know, and because so if we talk about football, you're covering all the issues, right? You can have something as simple as an ankle sprain. You can have something as like fucking death. Like it's so unlikely now, but like you cover
right,
everything. Like
right.
you have Damar Hamlin, you have people who've been paralyzed, you've got a broken finger because it got caught in a jersey. Like covers
Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
Truth be told, I don't know about wrestling rate. I'm sorry, wrestling injury rates. I have no clue. I know
A
guys
lot
do
of
blow their knees out.
a lot of broken necks
Yeah. I don't
getting
know.
fucking
So
slammed.
that's why I said I don't know about the rates because I don't know how much that happens. And I'm not saying it does or doesn't. I just genuinely don't know.
Right.
And then hockey actually skirts a little bit of the injury rate because you can't really like roll an ankle. It's hard to blow a knee out. Yeah, you get more shoulders. Um, but it's gonna be up there with concussions, obviously.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, you're gonna get some participation drop in all of those sports because the injury rate's higher. People don't want their kids playing from ages 6 to 12. It's even one of those things like a lot of people, they don't want their kids playing football at all. And then by high school, it's like, okay, well, you can go play freshman, whatever.
Right.
Hockey, unfortunately, if you don't play by age 6 to 12, you ain't picking it up. Not
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
But hockey's not even that popular anyway, so or it's not as popular as the other sports
Right.
because you got to think the majority of the country doesn't play hockey.
Right. Yeah. 1% of
Yeah.
kids played sports in 20. I'm sorry, played hockey in 2022.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think you're getting it on a couple levels. And then like especially with the AAU club thing, like, dude, like remember when we played baseball in like Little League? Like maybe you had a bat, maybe you didn't. There was always a bag of helmets. There was a
Right.
bag of catcher stuff. Like genuinely, you only needed a glove.
Right.
Then if you wanted batting gloves and a second glove and all this crap, then you got it. And if you wanted your own bat, you could get your own bat. Fine. Dude, these kids now, they all have their own helmet. They all have one or two bats. The bats are like 200, 250 plus. And again, I don't know what the helmet is. And like they have like these big backpacks full of stuff. It's
Yeah.
like, what the hell is going on? So it's like back in the day where it's like, okay, you get a glove, you get some cleats, and you show up. Period. Done. Now it's like baseball is an investment too. So
Right.
it's like you can't keep playing all of these sports if there's going to continue to be a financial burden to
Right.
them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, football sounds like baseball and hockey are probably, I mean, obviously, yes, golf is probably the most expensive, but football, baseball, and hockey are pretty fucking expensive, right? Like,
Yeah,
uh,
lacrosse.
yeah, in a way, but I think lacrosse is less expensive than hockey.
Well, it should. So lacrosse should be more expensive than baseball, less expensive than hockey.
Yeah.
Because lacrosse, you need a stick, helmet, gloves, pads, cleats. Like there's just more stuff you need.
Right. Right. So yeah, I mean that's a good point too, though. I didn't even think of it like that, the financial investment of these sports.
Yeah, and it's like again, if and then never mind, like your club costs a certain amount. So it's like at some point, like you can't just keep doing everything.
Right. And then too, like a lot of that, just use baseball in particular, right? Just to pull that as a example. If my kid wants to play baseball, right, and we get to the point where all right, now it's like a legit financial investment because you have to buy your own helmet, you have to buy your own bat, you got to buy your own cleats, your gloves, your uh actual fielding glove, your batting gloves, right? Like you got to buy all this shit. I'm going to look at my kid and be like, do you actually want to play? Because if I'm going to spend all this money for you to play and you're going to fucking stand in right field and pick daisies, I'm not going to pay all this money for you to do that. We can go
Yeah,
find a different sport.
and it's like especially with the spring season, like there was 2 years where I played lacrosse and baseball.
Yeah.
Now I dropped lacrosse because I didn't like it, and Medford lacrosse was fucking shit. It was the first 2 years we had it, so it was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like stuff was like moderately cheap back then. Like now to pull that off, it's a lot of wasted money
Right.
to only play like a season or two of one of those sports.
Yeah. And then don't you have to pay? Do you have to pay to join the leagues anyway, right?
I mean, you pay, yeah, you like even if it's a town league, you have to pay something.
Right. And even in high school, there's user fees.
High
Like
school
I
has user
remember,
fees.
yeah, you had to pay per season, per sport.
Yep, ours were cheap.
Yeah, ours were like $125 or
I
something.
think, yeah, I thought they were like a buck 50, but like depending on sport now, like some of them are like 500.
Jesus. For what?
Well, this is the thing. It depends on what you get. It depends on your school and it depends on what you get, right?
Right.
So, like, if you pay the user fee, Like, do you get new uniforms every year? Maybe, maybe not. Do they give you equipment? Like, if it is the baseball team, does everyone get a helmet, or do you have to provide that yourself? Like, we used to buy all our own shit.
Yeah.
Except jerseys. Like, that was the only thing that was provided for us. So, we had the example where nothing was provided for us, but it depends on where you play, where you practice, like if you need to rent, like all that stuff comes into play. Like, it's not so easy as just having like Playstead Park.
Yeah. Okay. So I just looked up North Attleboro user fees on their athletics. The new fees for this year, this is funny, are athletics are $150 per sport, except for hockey. Hockey is $650.
Paying for ice time.
Yeah, you got to pay for ice time for varsity and $400 for JV, and girls is $1,500 to play girls ice hockey in North Attleboro.
Even more ice time.
Everything else is $150.
Yep.
Per sport.
Well, they have it in Medford. Nothing was different. Every sport was the same.
Yeah.
So
it's just kind of funny. Like, it makes me wonder, like,
well, you think about
if they're saying, like, so when we were in high school 15 years ago, right, our user fees were like $125, $150. So 15 years later, for North Attleboro to be at 150, like, were they like $25 15 years ago? Or, you know what I mean? Because it says, like, on this like letter from the athletic director is like the new fees for this year, as like kind of making it seem like they changed.
So I also find it funny because if we think to Medford, I'm pretty sure everyone was $150 or $125, $150, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I play golf and hockey. Those would be your expensive sports, and they were $125, $150. I'm trying to think like how much, just to make it even all the way through, but like how much I was making out on that deal versus soccer, who has very little expenses and practiced at the school.
Yeah. Yeah, if you did like a cost analysis or an ROI, right, on your $125.
Yeah, like I had to have made out like a fucking bandit.
Yeah.
Because soccer also, they played their games at the high school, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, on paperwork, they're probably like paying a rental fee to the school, but like, again, that's just like a fucking line item of paying itself.
Right. Right.
Like, or the athletics department collects the money, and the athletic department pays the field, which is still in just the same thing. It's just spending money, or again, just spending money around.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny because if hockey's more expensive, you're factoring in ice time. We didn't pay extra.
Yeah.
And we still needed ice time back then. But they didn't give us any equipment. Had to get it all yourself.
Right. Right. Yeah, at least for football, they gave us pads. Like, you could get your own. Like, you were able to buy your own. But they gave everyone pads. I don't think anybody, aside from maybe like a couple weirdos and like maybe a couple kids that played quarterback, actually bought their own shoulder pads.
Yeah, I think a couple kids like still will get their own helmets if they have like a weird shaped head.
Yeah.
Now, like current day.
Yeah. I'm talking, 15 years ago. I mean, today, I'm sure
they probably do buy their own shit.
Kids probably want to buy their own shit, right? Because they're like, they want the best of the best and all that bullshit. But like,
well, they also probably need it for their other things that they do.
Right. Right. And like when we were in high school, again, 15 years ago, the only thing I bought for lacrosse was my stick and my gloves and pads, right? We actually had gloves available. They were like hockey gloves, basically, but we had gloves available. Yeah. We had stuff available for kids that, couldn't afford it, right? Because, Medford was middle class, I would say. I think today it's probably upper middle class. But, again, 15, 20 years ago, the economics were a little different and we had stuff that you could use, right? But I didn't buy my own helmet. I used the school issued helmet. I think I bought my own shoulder pads maybe and gloves and obviously stick, right? But like other than that, we use so I mean it's weird. It's interesting. I'm sure, like you said, it's probably all different today. Everyone wants to buy their own shit regardless.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of those things like at some point all that shit adds up. So it's
Right.
like whereas baseball used to be you got a glove, it'll last probably forever.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, my grandfather had a glove that he had in like the 40s.
literally, that's what I mean. It's like if you think about like need, you only need one appropriately sized glove, period.
Right.
Done. After
Right.
that.
Right.
Then it's like, yeah, okay, specialty shit, fine. But like if you wanted to play little league, you could show up in cleats and a glove. Period. Done.
Yeah.
No, nothing else. You do not need another thing. And now you got kids fucking traveling and
Yeah.
playing here, playing there, trips to Alabama, driving an hour just to go to practice, like
Yeah.
crazy shit.
So again, this is one of those things I thought was interesting, right? That this is again kids' first sports between 6 and 12, and golf and tennis are through the fucking roof.
It's funny. I did just go on like a big financial thing, like as if like golf and fucking tennis aren't super fucking expensive.
As a matter of fact, of all of these sports, right? Um, so basketball has the most with like we'll round it's like 3.97. We'll round it up to 4, right? We'll say 4 million kids play basketball. 3.3 million kids play baseball, despite the 20% drop. 2.3 million play soccer. 2.1 million play tennis, and then it's 1.7 million play golf. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Golf is 5th. It's the 5th most played sport by kids ages 6 to 12 in the country. That's kind of wild. It's cool,
Yeah.
right? I think that's really cool. I like golf, right? I'm biased. I know you and I both enjoy golf, right? But so there is a bias there, but I think that's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, if you think about it with golf, it's an outdoor sport. It's I want to no, because that's not how it works. I was gonna say it's a place where it's like it can't necessarily be overcoached, but it absolutely can. There was like some Twitter thread I saw the other day about a 9-year-old that needs like mental toughness training. So that's completely like incorrect. But it's a sport where if like you learn it when you're young, like you can quite literally play it whenever. Like for your entire life.
Right.
You can almost play at any level of college, like in other parts of the country, not in Massachusetts, but like you can play like community college golf.
Right.
And if you're fucking good, like you're fucking good. Like that's it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like if you're really, really good, but you play for fucking Garden City Community College, well, come USAM time, if you are fucking good,
Right.
doesn't matter what school you went to.
Right.
Sure, you can't win a D1 national championship,
Yeah.
but you can make it to match play in the USAM.
Right.
You can make a Walker Cup team. Like that shit doesn't matter.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's like you don't have to go to Arizona State, right? Or Cal or
No, like you can go to
Alabama
fucking like
or
you could
was
like
another big one? Texas, Oklahoma. Does
yeah,
Oklahoma have a good golf team?
good enough. I would say SEC, Big 12,
Yeah,
Pac 12,
yeah,
anywhere schools are in nice weather.
yeah,
Like that's the thing is like, so Pepperdine, was that, California?
yeah.
Yeah, they've been
San
nasty like the
Diego.
last few years. So
Shout
it's
out to
like,
Sahith Sagala.
but like and this is the thing. So I don't know. But like, so obviously there's a University of San Diego, there's San Diego State. I'm willing to bet that there's like San Diego community or fucking like San Diego School of fucking whatever. And they probably have a golf team where you get to play golf in fucking San Diego for 4 years. You get to get it, like, I assume like you get a decent degree. You don't pay out the ass. And
Right.
like, that's sick. Like, who the fuck
Yeah.
else can say they did that?
Yeah. Like Pepperdine is probably like $80,000 a year.
Yeah, that's there. Yeah, so like Pepperdine, but the reason I brought up Pepperdine is because like effectively they're only good at golf and baseball.
Right. Yeah.
Like they're not in Alabama or a fucking Texas.
Right. Right.
I don't know.
So yeah, it'll be obviously kind of interesting to see how that goes over time. I mean, I would really like it if my kid played golf as he gets older. Obviously, I do have some control over it, but I'm not gonna like force my kid to play a sport that he doesn't want to play. If he doesn't want to play golf, I mean, that kind of sucks, but we'll play whatever else he wants to play. Um, so
Just don't let him play ultimate frisbee. It's a fucking loser sport.
so on that vein, right? And speaking of golf, we've got pretty substantial news. Tiger Woods is back. He announced that he is going to play in the Hero World Challenge, which isn't that in like 2 weeks? Doesn't it start like November 30th to December 3rd or something
Probably
like
it's
that?
probably the week at yeah, it's not going to be this weekend because it's Thanksgiving, so the week
Yeah.
after.
Yeah. So he's
It could be mid-December because they play in the Bahamas. So no, Bahamas, Bermuda. Where's New Albany?
I don't know. Next to Old Albany.
No, because Old Albany's in New York.
I'm looking it up now. The Hero World Challenge. Yeah, Albany, Bahamas from November 27th
Okay,
to December 3rd.
Bahamas.
Yeah, so it is. It's the week after Thanksgiving. And Tiger's playing. He's going to make his first start since the Masters when he had to withdraw. So obviously he's not going to win, right? But I'm mostly curious to see what the ratings are. So for people that don't know, this is like the goofy season for golf. That no one watches golf in November because there's football, basketball, baseball's over, but football and basketball are the big ones. I guess people might want to watch hockey over it, but not that many. Like golf is not a big time sport in general, right? Despite it being fifth most popular in the Utes. It's not a popular sport for people to watch in November, right? And December. That is by and far football, right? Whether it's NFL or college.
I tried to watch a little bit of it at Sea Island. It like wasn't on either. So that's the other part. Like I was trying to find it on Friday, I think, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see what the ratings are. Because like I don't know what if like this week, right? So let's say this week the RSM Classic pulled a 0.6, right? Like I don't even know, but let's just say it pulled a 0.6. If the Hero World Challenge pulls like a 3, I think that's
Well,
kind of fucking nuts.
well, so it's also a hard comparison though, because there's only 18 guys in the Hero World Challenge. It's by invitation, so it's all 18 like good players that people like.
Right.
When was the last time we had those 18 guys playing Tour Championship?
Probably, yeah.
So that's like, it's like kind of not a fair comparison. Like we're not, because that's the thing is like, as much as like Ludwig is fucking nasty, no one was tuning in to watch that today.
Yeah.
And like they played in Japan. They played in the Bahamas. Nope, they played in Bermuda.
They
Yeah,
played
the
in
Butterfield Bermuda.
did they just play in Saudi Arabia? Oh no, that was the
No,
DP.
that was Live or whatever. Oh yeah, no, they played in Dubai.
Dubai, yeah, because Max Homa won.
Yeah, so they played back to back. I think they played in Cabo and then they played in Bermuda. So that's like weird times to be on. Lack of coverage. Before that, they played like the two Vegas events. They play in Napa, Jackson, Mississippi. Like, dude, they don't cover these events. Like,
Right.
no one played in them.
Right.
So yeah, you might have to look back to like, actually, all you got to do is look back to other hero world champions because it's always the same thing. See if the ratings are comparable to that.
Yeah. I wonder, out of curiosity, if I could find that.
And I don't know if he played last year. He might not have. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the rankings kind of like, again, they're not going to be anything crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the rankings come in pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing. That's enough to move the needle. He hasn't played since the Masters, so people are going to want to see what he's made of. So,
I mean, Tiger is the host too. I can't get the specific year in order for it to, like, there's a Wikipedia page for the Hero World Challenge, but it's like in general, right? It's not like the 2022 Hero World Challenge. So I can't get like the TV specific ratings of it. So I wonder if there's a way to just Google like golf event TV ratings. Oh, there's a Twitter account called Golf TV Ratings. Oh, they haven't tweeted since June. Oh. The last one they did was the Travelers. The final round of the Travelers did 2.44 million viewers, down 6%.
I have the 2016 hero. Final round was 1.1.
Okay.
Which was up. So 2016, 1.1. 2015 was a 0.7. 2014 was a 0.8.
So in 2021, when Tiger came back, the PNC championship, where he played with Charlie, got 2.3 million viewers, which was an increase over the 2020 PNC, which was 1.5. So the Tiger Woods effect is real. So what is this? Tiger Woods, what did he play after the PNC? Because the way this article is written, it was like last weekend's PNC, where Tiger teamed up with Charlie, got a total or averaged 2.3 million viewers, up 53% over last year's 1.5. But then they said this week the audience peaked at 3.2 million. So whatever event Tiger played after the PNC, the week after the PNC, got 3.2 million viewers in 2021. And that's when Tiger came back for, the fucking sixth time. Now he's coming back for the seventh time. So yeah, the Tiger effect is still real.
Yeah, I think we'll see that it will be.
I mean, he doubled the view, like just on the PNC championship in 2020, got 1.5, and then he played in 2021, it got 3.2. And that's played in December. I think that's the one that's played in like mid-December. And it's a goofy event. It's a team event. It's always like father son or whatever.
It is father son.
Yeah, because Justin Thomas plays with his dad. Tiger plays with his son. John Daly plays with his kid. They won it last year, I think.
Yeah, the Kuchers.
Yeah. So it's way too early. But do you think he wins another tournament? I'm not asking about major. Do you think he wins another tournament?
I have no idea what his fucking game's like. So this is a cop-out. He has the ability to. Lucas Glover won fucking back-to-back events. So he has the ability to. I don't know if his body can hold up. That's it. Like, and that's the part that we know. Like, I know it's like you're asking me make a prediction. And I'm not doing it. It's like Felger right now. I'm not doing it. Because I don't know. Because again, it's like he can win another event. I don't know if his body can hold up.
Yeah.
He's good enough at golf to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think he does. I have a really hard time. I think he's done winning majors unless he can pull another one out at Augusta, right? Like, so he could win it. He could play Augusta blindfolded and shoot a fucking 72, right?
Yeah,
like
he could probably win an Open championship too.
Yeah. Yeah, he could probably compete and or
US
there.
Open. I don't know if he's got US Open anymore.
Yeah.
The right PGA course, because he hits his iron so good.
Yeah.
He could potentially still do it. Like the thing that's gonna get so the other thing too is like the real problem, he's not gonna play like a real schedule.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So never mind, he's not even like
he may only play like 10 events a year.
I think that would be aggressive. I'm thinking he's playing the 4 majors and like 3 other events.
Well, I'm including like the PNC because he'll play that with Charlie every year. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying in total in a calendar year, he'll play 10 times.
Yeah. So I think he might have to win a major because those are the ones where you don't have to go super low. And he can just outlast people.
Right. Like he doesn't have to win 27 under.
No.
He can win at Augusta at 12 under.
Right. And it's like he still hits the ball plenty far, but where he needs to be better than people is with his irons, which he is. So he could, like, at a major golf course, keep it in play, hit better irons than everybody else, and like that's how he'll win. And
then get hot with the putter.
And if the putter's hot.
Right.
But that's the thing is, like, I don't think he can beat some of these guys on Torrey Pines at the Farmers. I don't know if he can do it.
Right.
Because they just fucking, like, John Rahm's just going to hit the ball, like, way fucking further than he is.
Yeah. And he's not going to win at the Travelers at 30 under, right? Like, Was
Yeah.
it Tony Finau that just won this year at 29 under or something like
I
that?
don't even know. Because it's funny because I remember the Travelers played harder than the US Open one year. So like in my head, it's not one of those courses that just gets absolutely abused,
Yeah.
but it certainly has.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think he probably plays the four majors. Um,
I also don't know if he can,
Potentially he
I don't
could
know if
play
he
the
can get
Scottish
it.
Open.
I don't know if he can get in. They can find I think they'll find a way. I don't know if he can get in the designated events.
Right. That's a good point.
Now, like I said, they'll get him in,
Right. Yeah.
but like he's not technically eligible for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoever the 30th ranked player is. Oh, he's got a hangnail. It's not, or we're going to make a special
No,
exemption.
that's what it'll be. It'll be a special
Yeah.
exemption. And
Yeah.
it's
So
like
we
one of
have
those things like
31.
if the memorial comes out and goes, yeah, well, he's won here like 5 fucking times. So it's like we're putting him in. If you don't like it, then you can win here 5 times and we
Right.
will do the same for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, same with the farmers. It's like, well, he's won this event 8 times. So if you don't like it and you want to get in the designated event, win here 8 times.
Yeah. If you want a lifetime exemption to get into these
All
things.
you have to do is win this event 8 times.
Yep.
He's done that like 4 times too. It's fucking sickening.
Oh yeah, at different courses, won like 5+ times.
I think he's won 8 times on at least 3 different golf courses.
That's insane.
It's fucking nuts. If you really like, if you think about it now, how fucking crazy that is.
Yeah. How many times has he won at Pebble? Did they ever used to
Not,
have a regular event, or were they only US Open
I think it's always been the pro-am.
and the bullshit pro am?
I want to say Tiger Woods has won 8 times at Torrey Pines, Bay Hill, and Firestone.
Yeah. They don't play Firestone anymore.
Yep.
Right?
Those are the 3. So he won 7 Farmers and 1 US Open at Torrey. He won the API 8 times and then the Bridgestone 8 times.
Yeah, no big deal. It's fine.
He also won at Doral.
That's
7
more
times.
wins than Ricky Fowler has in his entire career, just at one course. And he's done it 3 times.
Yeah. And then he won Doral 7 times. And he's won 5 memorials.
Yeah.
5 BMWs, but that changes. Unless those were all
Rico
at
has
Hill.
what, 6 career wins? Because he
Depends.
just won,
do you want to
last
count
year.
do you want to count as international ones? Because he won a Scottish and he won like a Dubai event. Do
Well,
you
I
want to
mean,
count those? Because that's like 7.
do you count those for Tiger in his 82?
I don't know if he won any of those. I don't think he played them.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, just to be consistent across the board, like if you count those in his 82, then you can count for Rico. But if you don't, then don't count them for Rico.
Yeah, I don't think he played any. I don't think he ever played a European Tour event that wasn't like co-sanctioned.
Yeah.
He might have. He probably did, like early in his career.
So things are looking up for golf. Tiger's back, and youth participation is through the roof.
Ludwig won.
Yeah. So, on that note, you want to wrap this up?
We can wrap this up. So I was at the grocery store the other day, and I plan on making chili. When I make chili, I usually start it out with bacon, and then I kind of make my chili from there and go to the aisle that has the bacon. And I'm looking around and I'm like, this sucks. There's like not many options. Everything's like maple this, maple that, maple, whatever the fuck,
Mhm.
or it's turkey bacon. And I'm like, this is not what I'm looking for. I don't want maple bacon for my chili. That's not what I'm looking for here.
Nope. No thanks.
So I mean I settled on pancetta. I just got like a big thing of it and just use that, and that was fine. Like that'll absolutely get the job done. I might actually even just go forward with using that, full time. We'll see. Is there like a run on bacon, or are we just like not making it anymore? Or is Market Basket just like not stocking it?
I
Like,
noticed that my Market Basket also had a bacon shortage, but the butcher downtown has fucking like whole pork bellies, like for sale. Like they're just in. I almost fucking pulled the trigger on one and was like, "Oh, we can do something with this next week." But I was like, we're gonna have way too much food.
yeah,
We
we
don't
always
we
do.
don't we don't need a fucking whole pork belly.
No.
But if you're looking for one, that's the place to get it. Shout out to the Meat Bar in downtown North Attleboro. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said in our group text, I noticed the same thing. Like your standard like grocery store bacon, it's just missing, right? Or it's short, and there's stupid maple bacon everywhere, but there's no like regular bacon.
Yeah, I'm not looking for maple.
So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there was like a swine flu or something, but we got a bacon shortage going on.
Yep. I don't know. But that's why we are on again. It might not make it like a permanent switch, but definitely considering my options with just going pancetta.
Yeah, that's solid. Um, all right. So, well, I mean, I skipped over the question because I knew this, but for the viewers, how did the chili come out?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, well,
um,
I mean, again, ultimately, I know what the fuck I'm doing, but yes, no, it's
right.
fine. Yeah, because
Right.
sometimes pancetta can have like a little bit of a weird taste to it, but it didn't come through. There's
Yeah.
enough other stuff in there to mellow it out.
Nice. Yeah, I might give that a whirl at some point. Okay. So my final thought is actually what I was going to lead with. And I was going to make this episode like a hate episode of bitching and vitriol and I fucking hate everything and everybody. But right before we got on, I saw the news about Argentina. I can say it now. But I'm gonna go back to this and then I'll save some of my other hate for the next episode as well. So you know what? I'm gonna combine them. This is gonna be my final thought. I'll get the hate out of the way now. Um, so first off, fuck everybody that wants to protest anything, regardless. I don't care what it is, right? Like if your means of protest is to divert traffic or affect the flow of cars in a city, you can fuck right off. So the other day I was trying to get to work, right? I had to be in Cambridge and I left probably around like 7:15, right? Because I'm thinking I needed to be there by 10, but I had a meeting at 9 that, whatever. So I was like, oh, I'll just get there in time. I'll take my meeting at 9 on the computer, and then I'll do my in-person meeting at 10 o'clock. Whatever day this was, I think it was Thursday last week. When I go into Cambridge, I like to go back roads just because 93 is a fucking disaster. And 95 sucks because then you got to go 95, sit in traffic, get to the Pike, sit in traffic. It's just miserable. So I like to go up Route 1, basically all the way through Dedham, Jamaica Plain, right? Hop on the Jamaica Way, which kind of sucks, but it moves. I'd rather do that than sit and fucking park my truck on 93 in fucking Quincy for 15 minutes waiting for traffic to move. So I go up through the Jamaica Way, through Brookline, and then over the BU Bridge, and then I'm right in Cambridge. I'm right where I need to go. Well, last Thursday, there was a group of people that decided to protest the Israeli-Palestine war, right? I think they were Israel is bad people, free Palestine. And they shut down the BU Bridge with their protest. So I luckily got an alert on my phone using my GPS when I was in like the Dedham area. And it was like, alert pops up and it goes new route calculating. And then underneath it says like alert road closed or road closure or whatever. And I was like, okay, like didn't think anything of it. Like it's road closure. There's probably construction somewhere. No big deal. Well, the way it ended up taking me was like through fucking Newton, like back roads through Newton all the way up into Route 9, onto Route 9, onto the Mass Pike, off the Mass Pike, in Cambridge, like the most roundabout fucking way. Whatever. I got to work, but it took me almost 3 hours to get to Cambridge. And come to find out, it was because these stupid motherfuckers decided to protest Israel by shutting down the BU Bridge. Now, I have no skin in the game, right? Other than being a genetically 10% Ashkenazi Jew, right? Shout out to 23andMe, not a sponsor. But I don't really give a fuck about what's going on in Israel and Palestine. Does that make me insensitive? I don't know, maybe. I don't care. I have enough bullshit that goes on in my day-to-day life every day that I need to worry about that affects my direct life in the minutes of the day, right? What happens in Israel and Palestine, literally on the other side of the world, does not have a direct effect on my life minute to minute. So I don't give a shit. However, if you are someone that has skin in the game or you feel some sort of way and you want me to join your cause with a protest, blocking traffic is not the way to get me on your side.
No, it just makes you look like an asshole.
Yeah, you're a fucking cunt. If all you do, you're protesting something and you're making everyone else's life more miserable, for what? You want me to support your cause now? No, now I fucking hate your cause.
Yeah, I'd actually like to go the other way.
Yeah, whatever you're supporting, I support the other side now. I have no skin in the game, but I don't give a shit. If you're all go free Palestine, I don't care. I hope Israel fucking nukes Palestine now. I don't care. Like, don't fucking destroy my commute into the city to join your cause, friend. That's not how you get me to join your cause.
Well, the other thing too is then like someone like will argue. It's like, well, they got you talking about it. It's like, yeah, for the wrong reason.
Yeah. Like, just what an asshole, right? And then, so the other part of that is to piggyback off of that is Natick sucks. I hate Natick. It's the worst fucking thing ever. I was coming home from a different client site in that area, like the Framingham Natick area. And again, my GPS was like, oh, go this way and it's faster, whatever. Well, the way it took me,
Dude, did you use Waze?
No, it was just regular, whatever. I sat at a red light, I shit you not, for 13 minutes because it was at a fucking train tracks twice. The red and white little the bars came down and the lights started flashing twice. The bars came down and stopped everybody for trains before my light turned green. I'm not exaggerating it because I checked, I counted 13 minutes. I sat at a red
Pretty
light.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So Natick can get blown off the face of the earth along with Palestine. I hope Israel blows up Natick. I want them to send a fucking missile and blow Natick off the face of the earth. Because that place sucks.
Their hockey rink sucked. That's the only time I've ever been to Natick.
It's terrible. It's just
they had like a fucking gas powered fucking Zamboni, and you could fucking smell
it. That's great.
What a shithole.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting really sleepy. Oh, it's just the carbon monoxide. We got a fucking gas engine. Fucking.
It's a fucking diesel.
Yeah.
Where do you fill this thing up?
You got to pull start it. You got to plug it in. If it was a diesel, you'd probably have to plug it in because it's so cold in there. You'd have to heat the engine in order for it to
I don't
fucking...
know. I just remember it always smelled like gas in there.
Yeah. Well, that's the only issue with diesel is it doesn't work well in cold temperatures. So anyone that has a diesel truck, you have to buy like an engine heater. And in the wintertime, you have to plug your truck in so the diesel doesn't freeze.
Sick.
Yeah. So that's pretty fun. So yeah, traffic fucking sucks. Had a fun week last week of trying to navigate through Cambridge and Newton and then out in Natick and Framingham. So,
which is fun anyway.
Yeah, it's fun to begin with. And then it just got added layers in there. So yeah, that's going to do it. That's how I was going to start the episode. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe up above. Smash that thumbs up button down below. If you're an audio only listener, you can subscribe also wherever you're listening. Keep spreading the word. Tell everybody you know about the show. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod, or on Twitter at Sarcasm_speaks. Facebook, Sarcasm Speaks. Website, sarcasmspeaks.com. Go to the merch store, buy some merch. While you're buying some shit, you can go to noonbrew.com and use the promo code in the show notes to get 10% off your order every single time you check out over there. It's great sleep tea, nighttime tea, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I was drinking it earlier. Works great. I love it. You should buy some with the promo code. And then we have mybookie.com. Use the promo code SarcasmPod when you sign up over there, and they will double your first deposit up to $1,000. Again, at mybookie.com. So until next time, good night, everybody.